Last week I was mostly focused on making the weapons clearer and improving visual verification. This week I continued from that by updating some of the agent skills and rules based on those lessons. But the main thing I wanted to fix was something I was getting tired of looking at: the UI. The game still had too many default Unity buttons, so I used Claude to create a first UI design plan. That gave me a design reference to start from. The agent had the design files, screenshots and the current UI direction. That should have been enough for a decent first pass. But the first result was bad, very bad. After that, I made a more detailed plan and tried another pass. The second result was better. The screens were starting to move in the right direction, but it still was not something I would call finished. Then I let the agent continue applying the UI plan while I worked on other things. When I came back to review it, the results was mixed. The colors, UI structure and most of the screen wiring was there, so it was not a complete failure. But some screens still looked obviously wrong. For example, the endgame stats were basically broken, while the agent was still reporting that the font sizes and values were correct. That made the problem more interesting than just the UI looks bad. At that point, I checked the screen myself and started looking for what was making the screens behave like that. That is when I noticed the UI scale was not what I expected. After checking the setup, I realized that the issue was coming from how the UI objects were being created through Unity MCP. Some rect transform changes were missing the usual editor safety steps, so Unity was resetting the local state back to 1. That meant the agent thought UI values were correct, but Unity was changing part of the layout underneath it. So the agent kept building on top of a setup that was already slightly wrong. The UI was already in good enough shape that fixing it directly in the editor was probably faster than pushing more agent passes. After that, I cleaned up the remaining menus manually and pushed the UI to a decent first version. This is only the start of the UI work, but it already makes the game feel a bit more alive. And more importantly, the game now has a clearer visual direction. I also worked a bit more on the hyper-casual template this week. But for now I think I am going to put that on hold. It is useful, but right now the main game needs more focus. So this week ended up being mostly about UI. I started from the default Unity buttons, made a first design plan, and got the UI to a much better first version. Next week I want to focus on weapon balance and rewards, and make the core loop feel better to play. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.